Try to see which way you can get in. It's locked. I can't get through. Of course, the first ban coming out. How could we not mention it? Sven Skeren. It is going to be Jarvan taken away from him, and Elise also being banned out, this time away from Fnatic.
So let's see if Shen and Twisted Fate get banned out. The fact that Fnatic have first pick, first ban, and we heard Deficio specifically stating we don't want that global presence, we don't want that split pushing from a global point of view to be available. Zed, Kha'Zix, Kale, they're all still available, so there's a lot of high priority picks there for these two teams.
So Thresh also being taken away. Would expect Shen to probably go. Twisted Fate almost certainly. Let's see though. It's going to be Copenhagen Wolves' choice, and Zed is going to be the champion of choice. Remember, Soaz, he's also one of the champions you could focus on, but he just plays so much you can't ban him.
Kassadin may be picked by one of these two teams. I imagine with the way that there's a lot of focus on our many other champions, we may actually see that slip through the cracks and being picked up, and we've seen great Kassadin performances from both of these mid laners. So that's another possibility, but both global presences of Shen and Twisted Fate are still there, and I think that's probably the talking point. I imagine that's what both of these teams are saying, well, what do we want to get rid of? In actual fact, Kassadin's going to get banned.
Kassadin is going to get banned, but Twisted Fate's still available, as is Syndra.
Shen banned, Kassadin first pick.
Right.
Instead, Fnatic have gone, well, let's confuse the Wolves, or let's go with something else and ban out Kassadin, which would have been the next logical step. And interestingly now, everything's still left available. So with Blitzcrank banned out, the Blitzcrank Urgot lane that we seen yesterday is less likely to be possible. But there's so many globals, and Fnatic are going to be like kids in a candy store saying, I want everything.
Setting up the perfect dark gaming environment there on the stage, just to plunge them into darkness. Keep the players happy.
Maybe someone will play Nocturne and Paranoia has just been used.
Well, we'll see what Chaos does about that, because he gets worried about Nocturne the most, of course. You may have all seen the YouTube video. If not, you may want to check it out. So, first pick. What will Fnatic go with? They know that Twisted Fate's available. Are they being baited into it by Copenhagen Wolves? Or will they go for something else? Will it be a support? Will it be a jungler? Well, Soaz, there's a lot of tension on his face right now, and he's going, no, 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 we got Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix has been locked in. Can be played by either Soaz or Peke, of course, and we'll see who wants to get the leaping insect. Well, it does mean Copenhagen Wolves have the possibility of locking in both Twisted Fate and Shen. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what they wanted to do, but what it does mean is it makes me think Peke will is there, Nasus is there, maybe even Hecarim, but I don't know if Svensko's been playing him.
This is the same mistake that the Dragonborn's made.
One key ingredient is different though. Jarvan is not there, and the
key ingredient is there's Fnatic.
True. But if you remove Jarvan from Copenhagen Wolves, that he's their initiating player. If you look at every single game they've played for the last month, it is Sven Skeren that dives in there with the knock-up, with the Cataclysm, and without that being there, he's going to have to fall back to somebody else. With Godbro on that side. If Nocturne does get locked in, that light going into Paranoia is going to be awesome.
That's just Cyanide trolling me.
He's played it before.
He does play it, I know that.
He played it week 8. If I remember correctly, and to great effect. And the idea of having both Nocturne and Zinza, Lulu, Varus, I think for Copenhagen Wolves, if they want to go for those comfort picks, Deficio's played Lulu both games earlier today. It's one of his most played support champions. For Fnatic, they might be thinking about Rumble. When I think about 2 weeks ago where they beat SK Gaming, it was Enrated Leona and Soaz's Rumble that won them team fight after team fight. They got the solar flare down, put Equalizer on top of it, and it just shredded people. Maybe. I also think that'll be a good matchup for him in the top lane against.
Back this one up. Is a number of them available other than Thresh? It could mean Sona was going to come alongside him. Janna's been a choice. We've seen a number of players starting to pick up lately, but be surprised to see that. Zyra, though, could be the choice.
So Zyra being locked in, that's a great pick for Deficio. He's played her 6 times this split already. Unfortunately, only 2 wins. But what a great statistic is for him in this side of the thing, 6.2 KDA. So he's got a great kill death to assist ratio with her. And also the amount of impact she can have. If a Kha'Zix and a Nocturne or Leona dive on you, you just put your ultimate down, knock them all up, and it, I don't want to say resets the fight entirely, but it gives you a lot of power in that particular regard. At the moment, Yellowstar's looking at Twitch. It's a great combo. The kill potential in that bottom lane is going to be huge because the low-level damage that comes out from Expunge and from that damage over time true damage is very, very scary to deal with.
Yeah, and it's a champion he picked recently as well. I think he got MVP in that game as well when he played the Twitch. It was the 5-0 at one point, absolutely dominating that lane, and with Leona alongside him, and Ari also being locked in for Peke. That means he's going to be in that mid lane, which means it's going to be Soaz leaping around on that Kha'Zix.
So it's going to be an interesting lane. It's also going to tell you that they've got great wave clear coming out, the Duskbringer, the Orb of Deception from Ari, as well as Kha'Zix's Void Missile. So they're going to be relying that they don't have your traditional tanky line from either your top laner or your jungler. Sino tends to build quite aggressive on his Nocturne, so he may not go full beefy tank. What it does mean is going to be a lot of pressure on N-Rated's Leona. If he picks a wrong engagement, these people are quite squishy. It's
also a step back to Season 2 for Soaz, because if you think back to IPL 5, that's when he originally rocked out the Kha'Zix and pretty much shocked the world in absolutely destroying the opposition, Stanley being one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And at the moment, he's having a bit of a giggle with Clarity and Barrier. I don't expect those summoner spells to be locked in. But if you look at N-Rated as well, you've got Revive Teleport. So just some mind games, I imagine, in Champion Select. The jungler has been locked in for the Copenhagen Wolves, and it does look like it's going to be Nasus. So not quite the aggressive Xin Zhao that I was anticipating, but fills a very similar role. Can run into a fight, has the ability to, start fights off effectively.
So let's look across the two teams. What do we see across the lanes? Advantages, disadvantages, and overall team composition? Because this is actually a pretty different Fnatic we're seeing right now.
That's the main thing, yeah. Copenhagen Wolves have sort of gone standard Season 3 meta, if I can go that far. They have 2 globals, they have Shen, Twisted Fate. We've seen Zyra support from a number of teams, and it does a lot to help. Fnatic, on the other hand, I think they've gone more of a skirmish team. I don't think they want to have very big engagements. They've got a quasi-global Paranoia from Nocturne. You've got a very, very mobile Ari who can get in and out of battles and avoid Zyra, can avoid Twisted Fate, can avoid Varus in that regard. So I imagine they'll try play similarly to what we've seen Against All Authority do yesterday against Giants. Come in from the sides, almost dance around a fight, as opposed to just going head first into their enemy.
Well, they are the team sponsored by Adidas, the Copenhagen Wolves, one of the few teams that have pulled out one of those fancy sports sponsorships. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they are labeled up to the hilt, and that is an extreme close-up to Yellowstar side of his face. We may even be able to see what's going on through those glasses if we get any little closer to him, but as it is, they do have that double headsets around their neck. Of course, Fnatic showing off their sponsors, and this, the final game of the day, it could well be a very exciting one. The Copenhagen Wolves, an explosive team at the best of times, and Fnatic, they are never once to shy away from an entertaining match, and this is exactly what we may get. If you just tuned in, well, you've missed a hell of a lot of games today, ladies and gentlemen. You've missed Evil Geniuses taking down Gambit. Some big, big games happening throughout the day. This is their 12th match of Super Week, and the blue team will beat Fnatic there on your screens. The red side, of course, will be their opposition, the Copenhagen Wolves. And we are live for the final game of the day.
And positions are at stake here. Fnatic are looking to reclaim first or hold on to that first position. If they lose, they remain in second. On the other side of the coin, Copenhagen Wolves, they want to battle for fourth, but if they lose here, they're actually at risk of losing fifth. So, this is still a lot to play for. Those seeds in the playoff tournament which will take place.
Seeing if Peke wants to throw anything his way. Bjergsen just keeping out of range. Yellowstar's just off to the side as well. And Svenskeren, he wants to seem to get in and maybe see if he can have a little poke in towards that jungle. Instead, the ward comes out, so he sees that go down to the tri-bush. from N-Rated and backs away.
So a defensive start from both backdoor position with the teleport volley bear, if I recall correctly, and Hebert to respawn. It was a very dramatic game, and the Copenhagen Wolves, they were looking to replicate their red team victory like they did all those weeks ago.
Soas is going to be the top lane. He's going to be in a 2v1 situation, it seems. Peke is going to help him out on their Wolves. So it's going to be Soas going 2v1. He's going to be up against the Tess and Deficio, which will be Zyra and Varus. And that's actually a pretty tough combo for him early on.
And talking about that as well, he's decided to go for a red pot start as well. So you've got Yellow Star that's got 6 potions and that Fortitude Elixir. So if they land a good Zenith Blade stun combo from N-Rated, he might drink that and then try pick up some kills. Alternatively, that's just going to be a get out of jail free card. Give me an extra bit of HP, allow me to flash to safety and then get invisible.
And more importantly, he was about to shove the lane then and realized the moment he saw the test comes around the corner, and you can probably feel his heart sinking. He's like, oh, I've been in 2v1 too many times. And we saw his, the fact that he was so put off by that 2v1s in week 9, he was not happy about the performance that they had against the SK Gaming.
No, Soas was actually very outspoken on his own Facebook page. He gets caught up by the roots. He's also taken teleport this
using that Fortitude Elixir very early on. Want to try and get as much CS down as he can. Try and bully that lane. Try and keep himself up there and keep himself relevant, I think it was. Yellow Star and N-Rated, meanwhile, down in this bottom lane. Obviously, Yellow Star, he's with Red Pot himself there against the Godbro. The Godbro's shield will be helping him out in this situation, and he's going to be happy to just sit on his turret.
Yeah, he needs to wait for a good couple of waves to, get up towards him. At the moment, we see Soas actually shoving his lane. He's using those missiles of his to attack at long range. It does have area of effects splash damage, and that's obviously, allowing his wave to push out against him. That's actually going to hinder him a little bit more if he continues to do that. We do see a little bit of a cameo appear.
Much I'd be impressed. These Danes, they didn't quite got the dancing moves down. But nevertheless, it is going to be Fnatic pushing on towards his bottom turret. He's going to put some damage down on there. N-Rated looking to see if he maybe needs to lock up. And Godbro there. We've seen some very early dives as well from Leonas in this bottom lane, so keep our eyes on that one. Peke, meanwhile, he goes a little bit aggressive on towards Bjergsen. Does manage to land the charm and just gets out of the way of the yellow guard, one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break. And he does get caught.
So well played there by Bjergsen to manage to close the distance. The fact that he has those tier 1 boots allowed him to get in there, in the end landing the damage.
Soas, meanwhile, dodges out of the roots in their bottom there, but the seeds have been laid, and Deficio is keeping the pressure on towards Soas. Hail of arrows comes down on him, and he just batters them away from that minion line once again in the tower. Now we do see some, N-Rated just missing. Ignite was being used out, now it's going to be the Wither, and this time it's just purely to deter him, taking back on towards Bjergsen in that mid lane, but doesn't happen, and Peke continues off the farm.
So summon a spell down, and once Peke hits level 6, Bjergsen needs to be very, very careful, because the kill potential is going to be very, very good for the Nine-Tailed Fox. And we've seen Peke land a good couple of charms already, so Bjergsen's going to need to be on his toes to make sure he dodges those and dance around them like Tango Twisted Fate can.
Can you imagine the horribleness of this as the Shadow Dash comes out from Godbro? He's up against N-Rated, who's sitting in the bushes the whole time, and he's up against Yellow Star. He keeps stealthing up. He's going to be like, well, I don't know. I think there's 2 here still. I'm not sure. I don't know. He's just going to be reporting back to his team and saying, I have no idea whether they're missing or not.
It's actually great that you say that, because we've spoken to the Wolves a lot, and Godbro is one of the quietest members of the team. They need to tell him, stand united me, which is a great way to play it. But if they go missing for any prolonged period of time, it just leaves that little bit of, that shadow of doubt in your mind. Cyanide is moving up to this top lane to try and help either fend off a dive or just leech up some XP.
I think he's just going to keep him away, but Shadow Dash on towards N-Rated. He's going to take 2-3 tower hits there, and that is absolutely going to force him away. Very well played by Godbro. He has fell behind a little bit by Soaz in terms of CS, but really holding on very nicely.
Now, N-Rated, he does drink that potion. He's still got the biscuit available if he wants to use that as well. It's going to leave him in lane, and what it just does is it discourages any more tower dives and a very early teleport from Soaz. He doesn't want to miss up on any CS. The wave is up against his tower, and he just wants to get as many of these last hits as possible.
He evolves his Void Spikes out there, so now up to level 6. He actually missed a CS while evolving it, but it doesn't matter. That's going to keep him, help him clear out those waves. And actually, this is kind of a slow push here, but we do see them diving in. Again, the Shadow Dash. This time the Zenith Blade catches on towards him, as does the Poison. He does expunge it and forces Godpro away.
I'm actually going to put money on the table and think that N-Rated took those tower hits intentionally, because it made me think that they might back away and go regenerate and come back into lane. And you could see, because Godbro couldn't see his opponents, he didn't know that Yellowstar was stealthed up. He didn't know Leona was still in the bush, and he, took a bit of damage, but good reaction time put him to safety.
But look at this. Look how aggressive Soaz has now been. The fact that he's now evolved those wings, the Void Spikes, he's just like, well, I'm quite happy to actually push forward, because I know if I get caught, I can slow them down, I can walk away from this one, or jump away from this one, and he can manage to avoid all that danger.
And he's got the ability to stealth up as well. Right now he has the level advantage, which means there's no chain of corruption and no grasping roots that's going to throw him up in the air.
Across the board though, 65 to 64. Both AD carries very even, despite the fact one's in the top, one's in the bottom, hitting just about every bit of CS they can. Meanwhile, the mid lane, 65 to 55. Advantage Bjergsen right now. Starting to get a little bit of a grasp on that mid lane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help him out. Remember that the gold number's in his favor because of his passive as well. In the mid lane, we do see Svenskeren was hanging around a little, but as N-Rated gets taunted under the tower.
Another taunt on towards him, and another 3 tower hits on towards N-Rated. Them shield helping him out, but he does have to keep chomping through those health pots.
So he's got no potions left, and he's used his biscuit, which means N-Rated's going to stay at this HP for a little while. There's millions of pings on the map right now, as Svenskeren again goes for an invade. He does have level 6, the same as Cyanide. However, he's going to get vision, and look at the positioning here from Fnatic. They may be able to surround him. Soaz is moving down.
Soaz is coming down behind Svenskeren. He's going to come in towards him. Doesn't go aggressive, though. And the Wither coming straight out from Svenskeren. Just like, no, I'm not going to be falling for this one.
So they're going to use that little plant tower as some vision and allow them to know when and where Soaz is moving around. Cyanide's going to be aware that he's standing in a ward, and Svenskeren is still sitting in range. He does have Ghost with his NASA, so if he wants to get anywhere quickly, he can jump in there, and you can see he's immediately coming back. Fnatic do not have vision of this, so they won't be aware that the dog is hiding in the bush.
I also saw Deficio's hit points get chunked down, but Peke catches the charm on towards Bjergsen, goes aggressive here, and Bjergsen still backs away there. Spirit Fire being used up, but this time the blue was picked up by Cyanide.
Yeah, he manages to secure his buff, but what it does mean is been denied from Peke. So, well played by Svenskeren. He didn't steal the buff away, but he's denied it from the opponent that means the most to, and that is what counts.
So meanwhile, Soaz, he's now got that tier, and he is stacking it up nicely. The fact that he's actually pushed effectively the Wolves out of that lane. We see the Tess and Deficio. They are now heading down to the bottom. They want to put Godbro back 1v1 against Soaz, because Soaz is starting to just pull way ahead in farm. I'm
interested to see how this works out, because now Godbro's going up there with that Giant's Belt and the cloth armor, so he's going to survive relatively well, but I imagine in the straight up damage, Soaz should be able to poke him down. He has enough damage to get through the feint. What we do see, the build that's coming out of Bjergsen is the same as earlier today. He's going to get that Twin Shadows and the Sorcerer Shoes very early on and play a very gank heavy Twisted Fate.
They thought about trying to get him for the blue, but Bjergsen now, Twisted Fate does have that. We haven't seen him roaming around to a great deal. Obviously, we saw him with a different build earlier on in the day. Very different from what we saw other Twisted Fates building. He was all about the speed, power, and aggression. As it stands right now, he's got that Cage's look pick in there, along with potentially Merc Treads.
Yes, I think, no, that'll be for the Twin Shadows. For the KGs
yes,
in the null
of
magic
course.
will be for that. So he'll be getting the sorcerer shoots, exactly the same as when they play Dragonborns, and just get the 6% movement speed really, really early on. What I find quite interesting about the AD carries is that Yellowstar is going for a Bloodthirster over the likes of a Blade of the Ruined King. When you're coming up against a Nasus and a Shen, you know they're going to stack HP. You know that when Svenskeren throws on his ultimate, he's going to get HP. So that Blade would actually be quite effective. But for the time being, it looks like he wants that BT.
And Rated caught out by a number of plants there. The grasping roots from Deficio keeping him pinned down, but Yellowstar is happy to continue farming. Very close between these two in farm right now.
Yeah, it is sitting relatively even. I'd like to see how the engagements go, though. In the available, look for a solar flare from N-Rated's Leona. He is not afraid to open up with that ultimate, allow Nocturne to dive in, and then follow it up with that Zenith Blade.
Well, they did ping on towards Soaz. Remember, at any moment, Bjergsen could just run off up there. Instead, he's going to pull the wild card. He's going aggressive on towards Peke. Peke, though, turns it back around, pops his ultimate down. It's going to be very close. Who can get the last hit? It will be Peke with first blood. So close between two, both absolute top players in the world right now.
Neither of them missed their abilities. They hit everything that they needed to hit, but at the end of the day, Peke had more damage. That blasting wand was helping him more than just the KG's lucky pick. Great play from both players, and if anybody wanted to know who is the better 1v1 in the mid lane, I think Ari just proved... Peke just proved it.
Diving up towards Deficio, and you can see N-Rated immediately. Yellowstar pops that ultimate, and there comes downtown Cyanide. Doesn't quite catch on. I don't even think he got the assist in there in time. Yes, he did, just in time.
Just got in range to land that one. So 2-0 for Fnatic. They're 1,000 gold ahead. And this is not the first time we've seen this. They have won out lanes against the Wolves, and the Wolves have been able to pull it back. Remember that with Twin Shadows and with Destiny, here comes Bjergsen.
And here is the Destiny. Stun card goes on towards Yellowstar. He cleanses it off, but you can see immediately Nigobro comes back in, gets that Shadow Dash across, taunts him out there, and Rated flashes out. Cyanide gets involved. He takes a big chunk of damage, and Bjergsen turning things back around in Wolves' favor.
So that's the kill for Gobro to balance out that CS differentiation between them. Svenskeren's in position to defend the top lane tower as well, and he's moved up there. The Wolves have a numbers advantage on Dragon, but they've decided not to go for it because Bjergsen's Svenskeren's smite is not there.
Yeah, means just holding off that top lane, and now Peke, Bjergsen still very much aware of what just happened. Doesn't want to go strike toe for toe with Peke right now. He has got
yet, and he's going to need to prep himself getting off that picker card for more mana. Right now, Peke has the advantage in the lane because he can spam his abilities without losing anything.
yeah, you can see it's keep going out there. He's going to have to use those mana cards instead to try and regain some of it, which is exactly what he's doing. Charm does land. Peke puts another burst down on towards him. Mana card comes back out from Bjergsen, and he tries to sustain and hold onto that mid lane. As it stands, 500 gold between the two teams. It's just a 1 kill difference right now between Fnatic and Copenhagen Wolves.
And it was a great reply kill from the Wolves in that bottom lane. They used a lot to pick it up, but it did secure it. Now they're looking to put more pressure in the mid lane. Svenskeren's coming in from behind. Peke does have his ultimate though, so he should be able to dash to safety.
You saw the sheer panic. Bush.
So he managed to sneak away. Well played by Peke to get to safety, but even better from Svenskeren and Bjergsen to force that ultimate. Peke having to play a little bit more defensive now, since he's going to be in a little bit more trouble. He's hanging around this mid lane, thinking about staying in lane, but he may decide to back off and just pick up that blue buff safely.
Yeah, Yellowstar just clearing up those wraiths. Still actually left the big wraith there. Didn't take the big wraith down. Instead, he's just going to go back to the bottom wave because he realizes there's going to be a lot more gold, and he doesn't want N-Rated to take it.
That may have been a call from Nocturne, from Cyanide, saying, look, I want that or I need that, so please leave it for me. So we'll see if he does decide to swing back and pick that one back up. But nevertheless, Yellowstar's made it back into lane, sitting 120
at the back line. Godbro ends up equal. Those Void Spikes, of course, giving him a big health spike there.
So even with that chain vest, the cloth armor, as well as the Giant's belt, Godbro is losing on all those trades. We do see Soaz picking up quite an early mana immune. You do tend to see the tier getting fully stacked before it gets upgraded and going for either some armor pen or some lifesteal. But obviously Soaz is thought about this composition. He handled the 1v2 perfectly, and now he's handling the 1v1 even better with that 30, almost 40 CS advantage.
He's beaten down that turret as well. There's a lot of damage on towards it. He's continuing to keep the pressure on and just effectively prevent Godbro from farming out as much as he can. He has that advantage, and now Peke goes aggressive, but Bjergsen turns it back around, gets that stun guard down on him, and he's going to try and force it, but here comes Cyanide from downtown once again, tries to give him away, and in comes Svenskeren. There goes the ultimate. He's going to catch on towards Cyanide. Peke goes back in. He gets caught out. Svenskeren gets him down, but Soaz comes back in towards it. Teleport down. Bjergsen, though, just holds him off. The stun guard's enough. Has to use the ultimate. Turns it back around as well.
Count that Shen was going to be there as well as Nasus. So they end up, taking two. They lose nothing, but the bottom lane tower did go down, and Copenhagen Wolves may be able to pick up this mid tower.
They may well be able to. There's going to be a lot of hits coming on there, and of course Svenskeren with that Nasus, that Q will be doing a lot more damage than you'd normally have from a standard jungler, and they do take down the mid turret. So bottom turret down for Fnatic. They managed to got that one down while it was all happening, but the mid turret, the all-important mid turret, has been taken by the Wolves.
They've evened it up 1-1. There is 0 goal difference between these two teams. They are 100% even right now. Yellowstar and Enrated are trying to be sneaky like only Twitch can, and they've caught them.
They've managed to come across, and that's going to be the test, getting locked down.
He just got destroyed by that combo of Fnatic. Because they picked up that kill, it means they now have the positional advantage on Dragon, and this is going to be an uncontested Dragon for Fnatic against the Wolves.
But Godbro, he's hanging around this mid lane. The rest of Fnatic are close by, though. Will they have enough to take down Peke? Will they pursue it? They does take a chunk of damage down, but the Wolves now
well, so you just got to imagine the pressure that's now on these guys, especially with a champion like Ari, whose damage and CC comes from those skill shots. Soaz does not have boots, so remember, when he gets withered, he is going to go nowhere at all.
Yeah, he has got that brutalizer, all damage right now for Soaz. No boots required, so keep your eyes on that build. Of course, Soaz tends to be an innovator in the world of top lane right now. Certainly he seems to be showing how things are done, but Godbro, he's been there when it counts, and those Stan Uniteds have been so vital so far for the Wolves.
Every time it's been used, they picked up a kill, so you can't get more useful than that right now. The Copenhagen Wolves are just going to be waiting for those cooldowns. Destiny is available. Stand United will be there relatively soon, about 30-odd seconds. And you can expect them to make another play. They've done it before. They've allowed Bjergsen to go in with Destiny and then followed up with Stand United.
Interesting change of range from the Wolves here. They've actually moved the Tess and Divicio in towards that mid lane, despite the fact they've already taken that bottom turret. The middle turret, sorry.
So I imagine the creep wave just pushing up may have been the primary reason for that, and just trying to pick up as much CS as possible on Varus. The Tess needs to be at a threshold where he can kill people. What I do see in terms of items, though, Yellowstar's picked up that Avarice Blade as well as a longsword, so he's probably working towards that static shiv. I'd like to see how that works out.
Well, we do have a sneaky Bjergsen coming in towards his top lane to see if he can bait Soaz into anything. Instead, he shows himself pretty early on, and nothing's going to come from it. So it's like, well, I can back away from this one, no problem. He has got jump available, of course. He's up to level 12, so he's going to have that second evolution of skills, which means he'll be able to jump a long distance.
Yeah, basically he just walks straight into lane with the giant.
Try and pull that ultimate out. Where's he going to go? Will he manage to catch on towards him? Svenskeren does try and keep him down, and then Bjergsen is just trying to use it to get the hell away from it, but it's not going to happen. Cyanide gets the kill, and now they could dive on towards Godbro.
Good play from Bjergsen, actually. He had the gold card prepped, and instead of throwing it onto Cyanide had his spell shield up, and he landed it onto Kha'Zix. Fnatic have not stopped, though. They're continuing the pressure in the top lane. They don't have their auto attackers other than Kha'Zix, so it may not be a tower down.
Good shadow dash there. Getting some damage from the turret on towards Soaz. You see the jumping through there as the tower hit follows it through. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, the Tess and Yellow Star, they've been going back and forward. The Tess just has no idea. It's horrible going up against the Twitch because he could be there, he could be gone, he could be there, he could be gone. And now he's gone.
Yeah, I thought for a second he may try to set up a kill, but he's got no way of locking Varus down, and Varus...
So let's have a look across the team comps and how have they really done in lane. Obviously advantage so far with Yellow Star between the two AD carries. Mid lane, I don't know. I mean, it's a kill versus 3 assists and a 2 deaths, but the junglers is working very well for Svenskeren right now, but the paranoia has helped for Cyanide. Top lane, I don't know, really, it's very different top laners. Soad's going to be all about the damage, all about getting in there. Godbro, though, has been assisting in every single fight the Wolves have had.
Well, from a numbers perspective, don't forget that Pekka has got, what's that, 40 CS more? Is that 50 CS more right now? As well as Soa's having 30 CS in the top lane. So that's a very, very big difference between these two teams. The one thing that does play into the Wolves' favor, the predominant amount of damage from Fnatic is physical damage. Cars leaps and bounds as far as survivability is concerned. Godbro is trying to set something up here with Soaz. Pay close attention to Bjergsen positioning because Destiny is available.
That just forces him to jump away as he stands on him with that Sunfire cape and just pokes him back and forward. And Soaz, well aware of the situation, just jumps back to his turret, quite happy to just farm it out and keep those void spikes on those minions.
Well, flamethrowers do kill insects, and it looks like the Sunfire cape's doing work against Kha'Zix. Svenskeren was moving towards this top lane there to try and set something up, but decided not to come in from behind from that tri-bush, and is instead just going to try a frontal assault to try and get this tower down.
As it is, Cyanide's been spotted. He's trying to creep up the river right now. See whether he can dive in.
But it would be a team kill if that happened. Nevertheless, Yellow Star on the bottom lane. He's shoving this lane down. Got a pickaxe to back up that Avarice blade. Look at Xpeke from the side. Now, if they do get Varus alone, they may go for a dive, but Yellow Star's been uninterrupted. Here comes the Destiny!
Bjergsen comes in there and tries to prevent them from going on towards it. You can see immediately the Shadow Dash comes in, not quite going to land though, and Godbro now caught out. Cyanide just off the side. There's a ghost being used by Svenskeren. There's a big angry dog and he's coming for the rat. He does flash away though. Chain of Corruption tried to catch on towards him, but everybody avoids the damage. Svenskeren, he's still there with Enrated though. Can the rest of the team claps on towards him?
Global abilities, and they've got the tower. Mission accomplished. Albeit it cost them summoner spells.
Inner turret does go down, and summoner spells, well, it's worth it, honestly, and Enrated was just keeping Svenskeren at bay there. Could have locked him up at a moment's notice. Now the Godbro here has got him towards that top lane. He will stop Soaz, and the rest of Fnatic, well, job done.
So 4 towers to 1, that's a 5,000 gold lead. Get-go by Fnatic remains to be seen, but a great play by them, and they secure themselves another dragon.
Fantastic play. If that was all planned, because they were planning a long, long way ahead. Soaz still remaining in that top lane, still yet to go back. Finally decided, nope, Godbro's going to come back in towards there, and he is count against Fnatic, despite the fact they have that double combo, that double global combo. It's not working out for them right yet.
There's a lot more calculation from Bjergsen when it comes to using his destinies. We've seen it in the matchup against Dragonborn. He pretty much used it every time the ability was available. This time around, there's a lot more thinking, and he's only doing it once Stand United's there as well. So he literally goes in. The Stand United comes down on top of him, and they both arrive at the same time. It requires a lot of coordination to pull that one off, but of course it does mean that they need to wait for the Stand United to be up, which you can see is still only 25% of its cooldown available. I'm very interested by Soaz. 25 minutes in the game. He still has not purchased boots. He's relying on the base speed.
I mean, he's been on there for a while, but he's added that bloodthirst on top of it, and he's still not got boots.
Yeah, it's unique. You know, we've seen against Authority doing it a good couple of weeks ago, week 6 or week 7, where a lot of members of their team didn't purchase boots. We also see that Soaz, N-rated, is not running boots as well with Leona, but he's got fairly there for Soaz. He may be in trouble, or they may be trying to make something happen as Expect is on the way too.
It's a word I've not heard in a while, traipsing around.
I'm trying to expand the vocabulary as they've jumped onto Godbro. Soaz is just going to force him away.
Yeah, he's just going to hold his ground because Peke was close by. In fact, the entire Fnatic team is all stacked up around that top lane. Maybe thinking it's time we can try and force something out. Meanwhile, blue buff's being picked up by Copenhagen Wolves. And Fnatic, they want to cause a fight here.
I think they just want to cause trouble, I think, is the objective. You can see a fallback ping there in the mid lane from the Wolves. They've started to stack up, and that window of opportunity for diving has become a lot more slim because of the fact of Copenhagen Wolves are all nearby. Stand United is available as well, so if they do jump in, expect this to go very dramatic very quickly. Both Cyanide and Pekka can jump in and are very mobile, so expect that.
Trying to bait them in towards that jungle, but it's not happening. Yellowstar, he just goes off, and they are starting to farm out. Oh, the charm completely missing from Peke there.
Available, he's going to land on Yellowstar.
He's going in for the rat, and he's going to be Stand United as well coming in. They're going to try and get the Shadow Dash on towards him. He cancelled it out there because he thought he had the kill. And Bjergsen, well, if he's going to get this one, he's going to have the flash available in a few moments. He does manage to get the stun card, but Paranoia used from Cyanide just to prevent him going in there. And instead, Bjergsen is going to back away. Meanwhile, Svenskeren on Tess. They gather on towards Soaz. They manage to take him down. We do see Bjergsen. He's escaped with his life down the bottom lane. The grasping roots comes out, he catches.
Pushed us up from Svenskeren, and they're trying to catch N-rated.
They're rushing in for Baron or potentially for N-rated, but it doesn't matter because Yellowstar's taking down another inner turret. There goes the turret down. Deficio comes in on towards N-rated. They are going to drop him down. They're going to go for Baron, but Yellowstar and Cyanide, they're still pushing.
This is a practical
teleports available.
This is almost a remake of the last time these two teams fought, because this exact same thing happened. Fnatic lost a team fight in and around the Baron pit. Bjergsen starting to recall.
Now they're going aggressive, but Bjergsen's back. He comes in towards Soaz tries to leap away, but he's going to get shadow dashed on by Godbro. No, it doesn't matter. Bjergsen is there. He finishes off, and here comes the ultimate. The Destiny onto one side, flashes through, stun card, not going to land. It's the slow instead, and Godbro continues to chase. He's not going to be able to get away. He's going to be able to shadow dash if he lands at the right place.
Got to be very, very careful because Pekka is in the mid lane and he can join this party at any time. A great play by the Copenhagen Wolves. Yes, they now have an exposed inhibitor, but they have Baron Nashor on every single member of the team, and that is going to be so important for them. Expect now the Copenhagen Wolves to start sieging. Expect them to push as a team, but they have to be careful because of the fact that that inhibitor is exposed. We could see Fnatic try the backdoor.
Deficio is going to try and pick up some farm.
They want to try and get down the shortest lane possible. They've got the regen and the sustain, but they got to be careful because Pekka was just about to find out Deficio, and they're very split right now. Stand United is about to come off cooldown for Godbro, and there's about 10 or 20 seconds left on that Destiny, and that's when Copenhagen Wolves are going to say, let's play, because they have the ability to jump all over the map.
Soaz has gone to the top, finally got himself some basic boots in there. Will clear out the wave. He's got the workings of a Last Whisper in there as well. See whether he builds up towards that, but the Tess is He's the man of the moment, picked up those 2 kills.
They're grouped up and the solar flare's down.
Peke goes in, lands the charm on towards Bjergsen. Bjergsen tries to avoid this one. Meanwhile, this is happening. Godbro and Soaz are going at it in the top lane. Everybody backs away, and it looks like Godbro is going to be winning out this fight. There you go. Catches on towards Soaz. The shadow dash is enough. The minions are beating on him. He tries to ultimate, jumps away from him.
Destiny!
Bjergsen's going to come in for it. Destiny flashes away from this one. The shadow dash, will it be enough? Yes, it is. Catches on him. Bjergsen takes him down.
They've got to be careful. 3 members of the Wolves are in the mid lane. And I think what the Wolves need to do is back away. Yellowstar has stealthed up and he almost gets rooted. Well played by Deficio. The Wolves do not have the outer turrets in the top or the bottom lanes. They kept their eyes on the prize so much that they've forgotten about those lanes, and you can just see
the top lane is also going to be pressured, and there's going to be a giant wave pushing on there. I would expect to see Copenhagen Wolves shifting across and taking down that bottom inner turret in the top lane, and you can see them all coming across. Blue buff was just picked up in time, and the Wolves do back away.
So 2 quick towers is going to give them a nice gold lead. That means you're going to see somebody falling back. It looks like Shen has been the nominated party to clear out that wave. Stand United is still available, so if a fight breaks out, he will join.
They've got about 30 seconds left on that Baron buff, so the siege continuing here. We do see Fnatic coming around the side, N-rated, ready and waiting to see if he can try and lay something down, but the Wolves are smart to that one, and they back away because of those wards in the blue buff.
N-rated cannot chase either. He's got a lot of very good items, but no mobility items right now, so he's relying on the fact that the Wolves stick around longer than, you know, they should in that particular setup. At the moment we do see Yellowstar, he's ghosted up again, or got invisible rather. Gets the movement speed buff, and he's just scouting, just seeing what's around.
Well, they continue to hold off this bottom, but look at Godbro. He's going to be taking that bottom turret if nobody reacts to him, so that's going to be another advantage gained and pulling the gold straight close together. And well, he is just going to back away. He hasn't got vision of this, of any of the team. Instead, he's going to go Dragon.
So he's got a great play to close that gold gap and put them now in the driving seats.
Well, I tell you what, they're in a great position to collapse either on the bottom or the top here, because they're going to see the bottom lane. There we'll see Auri showing there, which will be Peke and Yellowstar, and the mid lane, they also saw them showing.
Everything is bang on even right now. Look at the gold numbers. 500 gold in the top lane. Call it 1,000 in the mid lane. 500 for your AD carries. That is as close as it's going to be. In Wolves' favor is that global presence. They can be anywhere at a moment's notice. Now Peke may have found Bjergsen out. There are 2 members of Fnatic here, and it looks like they're going in.
But Svenskeren, look at this. He's making his move down here. They are aware of this one. But will Bjergsen be taken down in time? Wow. Yes, he will. Absolutely destroyed. Godbro did use Stand United, but he was gone before they had a chance. And now N-rated, he's looking to lock up Svenskeren. Gets 1 stun, gets another stun, gets another stun. And now the damage going to come out. Will they pursue it? Yeah, bet your life they will, because Soaz goes leaping across. The plant's coming through, uses that ultimate. He's not going to follow it through, though. But the pressure is now on the Wolves.
So they're a man down, 35 seconds on the clock. The rest of Fnatic are moving up to this inhibitor. Chain of Corruption is available. Godbro is very, very beefy and tanky. He can survive a lot. But can they win a 4 versus 5? Godbro's going to need to get a great taunt and lock up the damage dealers. Here's the fight.
They're trying to hold off as much as they can. It's Godbro missing his Shadow Dash there, and now he's just going to have to back away from this one, but they've held the inhibitor. They've got another 10 seconds before Bjergsen's up.
Fnatic don't have ultimates, and that's why they're not willing to fight right now. Svenskeren does have the slow onto Cyanide, and it looks like they want to go in.
They could try and keep them busy here. Bjergsen's going to be up in 3 seconds' time. Can they try and lock someone down? You can see Svenskeren, he wants to get in. They've turned the fight around, and here comes the Destiny. Paranoia goes in, though. Svenskeren gets dropped. Godbro's turned on. He's taken very low. Cyanide's going to get dropped as well. Godbro has to flash away from this one. Peke's going to try and turn it around. The stun gun. Peke goes down. Bjergsen picks up the kill. Then Twin Shadows goes out. And then Rated turns his ultimate around. The stun card though on. That's going to be a double kill for Bjergsen. And it is evened all between the two. Stun card flash. Soa's caught out. Bjergsen with a triple kill. Fantastic stuff. He's not done yet. He's chasing down Cyanide, but Yellowstar, he's looking in to go the back.
What a ninja. Yellowstar stealths up, runs past everybody, and recalls in safety. But crucially, the inhibitor went down. Copenhagen Wolves are going to have to defend. That pause button has been hit because they cannot risk running out of their base. They cannot allow the teleport from Soaz's Kazakhs to jump in there and potentially take down more objectives. So expect Copenhagen Wolves now to start shoving down this bottom lane. The thing is, if they do that, all of a sudden Fnatic are just going to take a free Baron.
So fantastic game so far between these teams, and still it remains at 900. Goal between them, and we see Godbro starting off. The
seconds left before Soaz can respawn. Fnatic may be thinking that it's a possibility because look at the movement. They're trying to get up there. There is some wards down for the Wolves, but they will pick this Baron up before Fnatic can get anywhere near. And if Fnatic continue pressuring, Copenhagen Wolves may be able to find some kills, and it looks like they get the same feeling. Here's Cyanide!
Oh, Cyanide gets caught out. The Wither comes down. The stun card, the leash. He is absolutely screwed right now, and Bjergsen picks up yet another kill. 7-3-3. Can they turn it on? The charm lands on towards Bjergsen. The damage coming out from Yellowstar, but Fnatic have to back away.
So the Wolves need to be careful. There are super minions pushing towards that bottom lane. They are still stacked as far as Svenskeren's been caught.
Svenskeren's been caught with the Shadow Dash. It's going to be the Destiny coming in as well. Enrated open immediately. You see the Varus Chain of Corruption landing across Fnatic. They are absolutely being leathered right now. Enrated's caught out there. Svenskeren just tanking them up. He goes down as well. Yellowstar was dropped in that fight. Fnatic, they have to back away from this one, but Godbro's not going to give them chance.
Somebody from the Wolves needs to back away. There are super minions on the Nexus turrets. The Wolves, they're a little bit split. Godbro is chasing Peke. Soaz is recalling. Soaz has teleport available as well. We do see that Bjergsen's made it back though, but they're running interference. The rest of the Wolves are pushing down the top inner turret. They've picked themselves up the 4th turret of the game, and Godbro is still chasing Peke.
Well, Peke's got no mana, so he can't do a thing here. Godbro just needs to stand next to him, and it's going to be enough to take him down. Bjergsen is slowly but surely going to clear out those waves, and look at that Sunfire Cape doing work right now. And Godbro does get the kill on Peke, and that's going to give him a 60-second death timer.
16-6. There is a 10-kill advantage, a 3,000 gold advantage in the favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. They are still 2 towers down and an inhibitor, but they are controlling the pace of this game. They are winning the team fights. Look at the itemization from the test. He has a Randian's Omen. We talked about how much physical damage is coming out of the Fnatic members, and that is a perfect item to keep himself alive. Even more interestingly, Svenskeren's picked himself up an Iceborne Gauntlet.
One thing is for damn sure. Why are people not banning Twisted Fate? The Korean scene have shown this is the way to go, because every time it seems to be the global pressure that not only Twisted Fate but also Shen alongside him is working wonders. Look at Godbro, 4-0-10. He's been involved in 14 of the 16 kills currently for the Wolves.
And again, talking about that, the comfort picks. Godbro Shen is one of his most played champions. It's one of his go-to champs. You've got Twisted Fate for Bjergsen. You have Varus for the test. So the rest of the players, they're getting, champions that they're used to playing, that they play all the time. So they're in this position of power right now while they have this Baron buff, but they do not have map presence because of those super minions pushing up against them. And of course, the rest of the lane's having an additional 100 HP thanks to that inhib being down. So the Wolves need to be very, very careful with their decision making.
Well, the Tess has to be careful right now because Fnatic, they're coming in the side. Svenskeren is there. The rest of the Wolves are coming around the side. He does dodge out of that charm. He manages to land it. There's going to be the Destiny. Who will be the target they're going to go for? Let's see where he does go. And he's going to be Enrated. Chose to sacrifice himself there and knew he was going to be going down. The rest of the Wolves are going to pursue. Oh, Peke nearly getting caught out there.
Ghosts
they're
are
going to
chasing.
run away. The Twin Shadows comes out. They're going to catch on towards them, but Fnatic have managed to make it into their base. Will that inhibitor turret be enough to defend them?
5 versus 4. Copenhagen Wolves are very tanky. There's a lot of armor and HP on their side, and this tower is going down so quickly. The Lichbane and the Varus are just tearing it apart. They're going to get an inhibitor of their own, and all of a sudden, this game is just completely blown wide open. 5 versus 4 still. Bjergsen has almost got flash available, so look for a flash gold. card.
Yellow Star, if he wasn't stealth, he would have been dead instead. He manages to escape with his life, and the Wolves escape after taking down an inhibitor turret. There's a big stack of minions on the top wave, though. I'd love to see how close that's going to be getting to taking down that top lane inhibitor turret. It must be low, and they are going to have to get up and deal with them because there's a
need to defend their base. But very, very good and exciting game between these two teams.
Very much on a knife edge, and it's great to see the last game of the day. Remember, the Wolves, they have to take a win here after Evil Genius is taking down Gambit. Fnatic, of course, well, if they can hold on to that win, it will keep them that top position, which will be almost all about pride. And of course, going in towards the playoffs, it's an important position because they'll be going up against 3rd and 6th place.
Well, talking about that, whoever places 4th or 5th, whether it is going to be Evil Geniuses, that's going to be a best of 3 against this Copenhagen Wolves team. And they are playing so phenomenally well right now. We do notice another great item pickup there from Enrated. He's got himself the Randian's Omen as well. So a lot of Randians going around. And Cyanide, as is to be expected, Frozen Mallet being picked up. So he does prefer to pick up those sort of offensive type of items.
But more importantly, there's still no boots from Array. He doesn't need boots. He's just going to be staying in his base anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There's no Shredder's Reverie either. As I say that, it just gets purchased. So there's going to be his movement speed. Now, Fnatic are playing sneaky. They've stuck 2 of them into the bushes. Nocturne is waiting. This is going to be a 5-on-5.
Oh, the Twin Shadows. The Twin Shadows sees them. Svenska and does get caught and takes a burst of damage. But Peke had to use his ultimate, the first ability of it. And that is not going to be available when the fight starts in a moment.
And great positioning from Deficio there. He threw the roots up from the side. If anybody stepped forward to last hit or clear the wave, they would have been rooted, and that would have been the signal for the fight. Take a look in the top lane as Soaz is trying to get in there, trying to make the engagement happen, but it's a great siege, and right now Wolves have the better positioning.
Godbro happy to take a tower hit or 2, and he's trying to bait the rest of Fnatic into this one because he knows he's tanky enough to take that burst damage out from Fnatic, and he's almost certainly not the target they want to go for. Svenska picks up the golems just off the side. There is super minions coming down the mid lane, and Fnatic will have to deal with them in a moment, and Wolves realize this is just a waiting game, and they can hold this one out slowly but surely, chipping down that turret.
So the turret, it will be dropping very, very soon. The minions are about to collapse with the Nexus turret. You can see Yellow Star has already started backing away. Fnatic have said, leave it, abandon ship. We cannot save this turret. Let it go down. And with that, the turret advantage is now in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. They are 7-6. They have a 6,000 gold lead, and the game is in control of the Wolves.
So, pings up the top, Soaz goes up and clears that wave out. He's 0-5-2, by the way, Soaz right now. Who the hell would have expected that when we saw Kha'Zix getting locked in? And I was not expecting Godbro to be 4-0-11. Fantastic performance so far from him, and really, it's a great team performance across the board because Svenska, you know, despite the fact they banned his Jarvan away, he has played a fantastic Nasus. Baron's going to be spawning in 2 seconds' time. They are all over it already.
They have vision on this one, and Fnatic are going to be close enough to challenge. It will go down very, very quickly, but Wolves have peeled off, and it looks like they want the fight instead.
Bjergsen has that stun card, and Lichbane glowing ready. They walking through the Wolves. Can they try and catch on towards it? The blue buff even stolen away there. I think it was the Test that got it with the spear.
And those ghostly siblings are about to be off cooldown. They can throw them out, and it does look like they've caught Peke.
Sonya's Hourglass used, but the Zyra ultimate comes out from Deficio, and they bounce Peke in the air. He tries to dash away, but it's not going to happen. Svenska catches him down, and Rated dives in. Sacrificial lamb is all he is, though. And now Soaz, they're trying to get on towards Deficio. So a single support player goes down, and the top laner drops. There's the Twin Shadows landing, and Bjergsen with the stun card. Cyanide goes down. It's a triple kill for the Tess, and it's looking like the game also for Copenhagen Wolves. The cleanse comes out from Bjergsen, but they don't give a monkeys because they go straight for the Nexus turrets. It's going to be the Copenhagen Wolves taking down Fnatic. It is back and forward on the top lane, but it is the Copenhagen Wolves having a fantastic day. 3 games in one day, no problem. They go 3-0.
Can the Copenhagen